if I told you the entire quit drinking industry has been selling you a lie? A lie so fundamental that it's why relapse rates hover near 50%, why millions of people stay trapped in cycles of promise and failure, and why you might feel like you're the problem when the treatments don't work. I'm Dr. Donald Crow. I spent 40 years as an emergency medicine specialist seeing the devastating effects of alcohol, and I've been sober myself for nearly 28 years. Today, I'm going to expose the biggest lie being told by the quit drinking industry and share exactly what works. The lie? That alcohol is your problem. Let me paint a picture you probably recognize. You're successful in most areas of your life. Career, family, you have respect from peers. But there's this one thing, a cycle where drinking gets out of hand, you wake up full of regret, make promises that this time will be different, and then it happens again. So naturally, you look for help. You hit Google, you type in how to stop drinking, and suddenly you're drowned in information. Millions of results, ads everywhere. Coaches, programs, and products. It's overwhelming. Here's what I've observed after 4 decades in medicine and an equal amount of time studying alcohol and its mysterious hold over some of my patients and myself. An entire industry has emerged around quitting drinking. And while some people genuinely want to help, others have made this their primary livelihood. When someone's mortgage depends on selling you a solution, you need to ask yourself, what are their real motivations? But here's the deeper issue. Most of these approaches are built on a fundamental lie. And that biggest lie told by large parts of the quit drinking industry is this: alcohol is the problem. That the substance itself, the chemical, is the root cause of your disease. They focus on the fact that alcohol is bad for you and try to define exactly the mechanisms why it is bad. They promise you a life that will be much better when it is removed. But the problem is that the vast majority of people already know this. That's why they want to quit. Knowing more nuance about its poisonous effects, it doesn't really change anything. Think about the logic here. If alcohol was truly the disease, then removing it should cure you, right? Stop drinking, problem solved. Easy. But that's not reality, is it? Truth be told, you wouldn't have clicked on this video had simply stopping worked for you. You've probably done that multiple times in the past, only to start drinking again. In my 40 years treating patients and my own 27-year journey of recovery, I've seen that chronic relapsing, going back to drinking, isn't some failure of treatment. It's actually a defining feature of the underlying condition itself. If removing alcohol was the cure, we wouldn't see this persistent pattern of relapse so incredibly often. The fact that people struggle again and again tells us something crucial. Alcohol isn't the disease, it's the trigger. This brings up another major issue, the word alcoholic. I'll be honest with you. As a somewhat successful and respected doctor, that label was incredibly hard for me to accept. The stigma, the baggage, it just didn't seem to fit my self-image. And that resistance actually kept me stuck longer. But here's the medical reality. Alcoholic doesn't mean anything specific. It's a historical term, not based on any clear biological process. We don't say someone is a cocainic or a cannabisic, do we? We categorize other substances differently. We think about other medical conditions differently. Think about heart disease. We used to vaguely say heart attack, but now we have specific terminology like myocardial infarction and coronary insufficiency. More precision means better treatment. The same evolution needs to happen with alcohol use disorder, which is the current name for this disease. So if alcohol isn't the disease, what is? To understand this, we must first consider why anyone drinks alcohol. There must be some benefit, otherwise people wouldn't do it. I believe that people drink simply to change the way they feel. And they do this because they are human beings and have a fundamental need to seek relief from the discomfort that all human beings feel as part of being human. This is part of the human condition. We're frail, transient creatures living in a dangerous world. This discomfort may show up as emotional pain, or just a lack of a sense of significance that becomes acute from time to time. Alcohol and many other substances manipulate brain chemistry to diminish the intensity of this discomfort. Most individuals who discover this can use those substances and successfully discontinue their use before the toxic effects manifest themselves. The problem is others cannot. They seem to have a defective inhibitory system so that once the illusion of relief brought about by these substances has taken hold, the part of their brain which should tell them enough is enough fails to take over. I believe this is the essence of the disease that leads to what we commonly call addiction, alcoholism, chemical dependency, alcohol use disorder, or whatever. Many substances are capable of this effect, but alcohol is arguably the most socially acceptable and widely available tool that people reach for. The fact is, for some people who take this first drink, this sets off within them a chemical cascade over which they have limited control, if any. Why this occurs is unknown. But for those individuals so affected, the answer does not come from calculating more successful ways to drink, but instead comes from building more successful ways to live their lives so that the drink becomes irrelevant. Many people who quit without addressing the underlying issues find themselves struggling to control other compulsive behaviors, overeating, gambling, workaholism. Because the brain's need to escape hasn't been addressed, only the behavior to escape has changed. The bottom line is that some people can drink socially without issue, while others seem hardwired for dependency. It's not about willpower or moral failing. It's neurobiology. And this is the central issue that the quit drinking industry ignores. Building a new life is hard. Convincing someone that they have an overlooked secret product or program that will convince them to stop drinking is much easier, and apparently more profitable. Understanding the real problem shifts everything. You're not fighting alcohol. You're working to heal a brain that's learned to seek relief in unhealthy ways. So what does work? Based on my medical training and personal recovery, here's what the evidence shows in a nutshell. First, address the underlying emotional and psychological drivers. This is often where professional therapy, particularly trauma-focused therapy, becomes essential. Second, build community and accountability, not because you need to be shamed into sobriety, but because human connection is one of the most powerful antidotes to the isolation that drives drinking. Third, treat this like the chronic medical condition that it is. Just as a diabetic manages their condition daily with diet, medication, and lifestyle, someone removing alcohol from their life needs ongoing management, not a one-time cure. Fourth, be skeptical of quick fixes. Anyone selling you a 30-day program that is a permanent solution doesn't understand the nature of the chronic disease. Now here's what I want you to take away from this. If you've tried to quit and struggled, you are not the problem. You have not failed. The approach failed you. While your brain chemistry may make your continued use of alcohol incompatible with the life you're seeking, this does not mean you're powerless. What you have is a brain that learned to cope in a certain way, and brains can learn new ways. It does take time, support, and the right understanding, but it is absolutely possible. I've been sober for 27 plus years, and I've watched countless people reclaim their lives by building new ones. And I've seen that the ones who succeed aren't the ones who tried hardest to fight alcohol. They're the ones who started understanding what was really going on underneath. If this resonated with you, please subscribe to Second Act Recovery. We're building a community for midlife individuals who are ready for real answers. If you're committed to trying a different way to quit drinking, I've created a resource called the 90-Day Sobriety Survival Kit. It is not a quick fix, and it will require that you readjust your thinking and take actions that may be out of your comfort zone. If you would like further information on this, I've left a link in the description below. Additionally, to help the channel grow, I would appreciate it if you could like this video and most importantly, drop a comment below. These comments are my greatest motivation. And if you know someone who's been stuck in that cycle of relapse and shame, share this video. It might be exactly what they need to hear. Also, check out this video where I describe 13 warning signs that your drinking may have crossed a line. I'm Dr. Donald Crow, and I'll see you in the next one.